Hello, my YouTube world. This is Johnny Mo coming to you today. I haven't been with you for a little while. I know I just put out a video here on tools of the trade. Thought that was an interesting thing. A little spark some conversation. But today I want to talk to you about an article I just read in the new Lawn and Landscape called the Millionaires Club. And the first article is the 2 comma business, meaning the $1 million club. And I find it interesting, and I've seen this. I've seen this from lawn and landscape management. Turf seems to be a little bit better balanced. Of course, I haven't got an issue of turf here recently. Maybe they took me off their mailing list or something. I like turf. I'm going to plug them. I think they do a very good job being balanced. But lawn and landscape management recently have just really, just for the last few years, have just been pushing large companies doing articles on large companies. And, now the biggest thing is to give awards out for great employees, great field managers. And there's a certain sector of people that they are completely missing, like people like me who are solo, or maybe people who just have one truck. If I was these guys, I think they're out of touch. I got to be honest with you. I really do. I think lawn and landscape, I think that they sit in their bubble, and I think that the only people they really talk to are the really big companies. If I was lawn and landscape management, I would have a division, and I would have a whole section dedicated to the solo guy. And I would have advertisement right to that people. Right now, the advertisement is to the bigger companies, because obviously the bigger companies, if you got someone Brightview or one of those really big True Green companies or something to get a hold of a product that they've seen out of here or that they use, and they could sell thousands upon thousands across the United States. I get it. I understand marketing. But there's those guys out there that they just neglect. And generally it's those guys that watch my channel that used to watch Geek to Freak. And why was Geek to Freak so popular? I believe it was a couple of reasons. Very likable guy. Greg was a great guy. Still is. Great guy. I think he found a niche in this market right here in this community where there was a lot of guys wondering what they're going to do in life. And Geek to Freak was like, hey, I'm going to make $50,000 to $70,000. I'm going to cut small lawns. I'm going to use small equipment, and I'm going to work my butt off. That's the blue collar way. That was the old put a lunchbox in your truck. We're going to the mill. Well, the mills are gone now. And people are struggling to figure out what they're going to do. Not every one of us is going to build a $1 million business. Not everyone's going to have a 2 comma business. Not everyone's going to be able to do that. And what I think that these trade magazines are really missing is that market of the solo guy. Like I said, if I was them, I would have a whole section based on solo operation, interviewing solo operations all across the United States. Because here's what's happened. A few years ago, I can't remember which one did it. They featured, this happened twice. 2 companies they feature within months of the article went bankrupt. Or one was getting ready to go into bankrupt. The other one did go bankrupt. So they get in there, all these employees, all these trucks, these are people that we need to look up to and build our business model after. But we see them in our hometown, and they're sitting there, or they're a county over, and we see them, and we know they're not making any money. They've got all these people, they got all these truck shops, 3 different locations, and they're filing for bankruptcy. Or they're selling off parts of their business to make payroll. Or you find out that they're not even making payroll sometimes, and the guy's having trouble keeping employees. This is what I find interesting. We're modeling ourselves. Now, not all the big companies, but I'm just saying it has happened, and that's the mistake that we make. It's kind of like these DC insiders, these DC they don't understand why Donald Trump won. They have no idea. They still can't figure out. The media's dumbfounded. How did Donald Trump win? He tapped in to the blue-collar American worker who wants to get up and go to work. That's what he did. Oh, he's a racist. He's this, he's that. What he did is he tapped in to blue-collar America, the people that want to get up and go to work for a living. They don't want any trouble. They got tired of seeing the country go the way that it is, because they're saying the country's good, but our jobs are leaving. And I don't mean to get on a political rant here, but we had 7 places close here. Our big Sears that was a part of our community for many, many, many years closed the doors this year. I'm talking since I was a little kid, and even before that, back in the 70s, we had a Sears. We no longer have a Sears. See, times are changing, and people are smarter than you give them credit for. Times are changing, and people like Lawn and Landscape, all they do, and landscape, they focus on these big, this is the way you got to do it. This is the way you have to do it. Listen, you do what you need to do to make it for you. Because if you listen to these people, or you listen to the people in Washington, you'll never have Donald Trump get elected. You know, if you just listen to, oh, we got to build everything bigger, better, bigger, better is bigger, bigger is better. Sometimes bigger brings on too much debt. Like Walmart. I can make you a prediction. Walmart's not going to be continue to advancing and building these big, awesome stores. Why? Because Amazon's here now. Amazon is an issue. You could go on the computer right now, and everyone probably thought they were crazy. You might think I'm crazy because I'm not trying to become $1 million company. You might think I'm crazy because I'm making a comment about Lawn and Landscape and about landscape management and how they've done things. You might, oh, Johnny, you're so crazy. They're not teaching you how to be a millionaire. They're not teaching you how to that. They're giving you motivational stories. Now, if you want to become $1 million company, God, by God, go do it. I'm all for it. But I think you're missing the mark. I think they're not tapping in to the blue-collar America. I think that they're missing the mark. Just like DC and the mainstream media and even Fox News, they missed it. They missed what was going on in America. Pennsylvania voted for Donald Trump. And everywhere I went, I seen Donald Trump signs. I said, I think he's going to win Pennsylvania. I don't remember when the last Republican president ever won Pennsylvania. Every year, like, oh, I think George Bush is going to win. I think John McCain's going to win. I think Reagan was the last time that Pennsylvania went Republican. It's amazing to me. I think they sit in their bubbles and they talk to it's like that Boston meeting. You go to Boston and everyone's meeting and everyone's talking in Boston or New England or Connecticut or wherever they meet at these big conventions and they get together. But I don't think they've really tapped in to what's really going on. There's more solo operators making money than there is all these $1 million companies. And I'm not knocking $1 million companies. I'm proud to say that in our field we have $1 billion company. I like that fact. It gives you room to grow. But there's some of us, like Geek to Freak, myself. There's some of us out there, I can go on and name other, but I use Geek to Freak because he was the first one to really take the YouTube thing and make it its own community. There was other guys making videos, I get that, but he was the first one that got an audience. He was likable, but I think it was because people are I can make a living. That guy's making between $40,000 and $70,000 a year. I think I can do that. That's a good living. Not everyone is made to be this big, huge business. You know, I kind of find it funny. I remember when Blockbuster used to be a video place and Netflix, it was said that Netflix pitched Netflix to Blockbuster and they laughed because Blockbuster was tearing everyone apart in the video. Everyone was going to Blockbuster. Then Netflix came out and then it caught on. Then now Netflix is so big now that they're actually taking over the cable companies. Like people are canceling their subscription to like Dish, Direct, and whoever it is that you use for your cable television. They're canceling it because you can get Netflix. Netflix is taking over. And mark my words, there'll be someone else. Someone else will come down the road. Now, we only have one store in our whole town that you can physically go in and rent a movie. You can stream it now. It's amazing. Netflix started that. Amazon came out and everybody laughed. Everyone's, oh look, who's going to order off the internet? Now, every year for Christmas, the internet sales go through the roof. Walmart is going to struggle in the future because of Amazon. It's just a fact of life. And it's a fact that I think that people like Lawn and Landscape and Landscape Management, they're not looking at the big picture. They're not looking at the big picture. I don't think it's as bigger, as better is bigger. What is Walmart doing right now? They're restructuring. Last year they had to close a few stores. Look at Sears. They closed a lot of stores. Why? Because things are changing. And I think sometimes we stay, like, I think that lawn and landscape man, they're stuck in this bubble where bigger is better, better is bigger. Because we've had about a 20-year span of big, huge box stores, big, huge companies. And now it's coming around. It's coming around now. And I'm seeing it coming around where now I'm starting to see malls that aren't full anymore. And now they're closing down some of the stores in the malls. Now they're starting. See, things are starting to shrink down a little bit. I think there's going to be a lot more solo companies coming up. I hear it everywhere I go. I'm tired of it. I should do what you did, Johnny. I'm tired of the employee situation. Maybe you're sitting there right now. You're sitting here and you're looking at this video and you're saying, you know what, John, I relate to I'm so tired. Listen, I've been there. I understand what it's like to walk outside and you're starting at 8:30 and there's no one in the driveway. They mosey on in at 8:35, 8:40, and, you know, calling off and bad moods. And it's not like it was in the 70s. It's different. The generation is different today. And I think channels like myself and other channels out there who are trying to go solo, I want to let you know it's okay. That frustration is okay. You didn't give up on your dream. You've just revised your dream. So I'm going to ask you today, what's your dream? Maybe you're sitting here and you read the Millionaires Club and you're like, man, I'll never get there. I feel like a failure. Don't feel like a failure, because Johnny's Mowing in 1993 did not exist. It did not exist. It was something that was brought forth out of somebody's head, and then it went to a plan, and then the plan was put on paper, and that paper then became a reality. You're pulling something out of nothing and you're making it. Maybe you're only making $40,000 a year, but guess what? You're making it, and you're making it work. Maybe you're making $100,000 a year. It's about the profits you take home. It's about the profit you take home. Don't get in the numbers race, because let me tell you something. Bigger's not always better. Better is better. Nothing like going outside at 8:30 and employees didn't show up. Nothing like you got this big project to go and you only got 2 days to do it and the guy comes hungover. Or you've done 5 interviews and no one can pass a drug test. It's a different world today, and it's okay to be solo. It's okay to do it. I know that I felt like a failure when I downsized my business. I did. I felt like a failure. But it was the best thing I ever did in my life. I now control my life. The business doesn't control my life. The best thing I ever did. And some of you out there need to hear that, because you're like, I'm going to downsize, but I'm so afraid I'm not. You're going to make it. This year I downsized it again. I felt I worked a little too much last year, so now I'm going to work a little bit less. I'm 42 years old. I want the business to provide the life that I want. I don't want to have to provide the life the business needs. I know that might not make sense, but let that soak in a little bit, because some people, they work for their business and they feed the business, feed the business, feed the business, feed it. And their whole life is about feeding it, turn it, grind it, turn it, grind it. And then you're 55 and your body's wore out and you can't do nothing in life. That's not where you want to be. That's not where you want to be. And I'm all for the $1 million companies. I praise companies that go out there and kill it and do it. I'm not saying that that's wrong. What I'm saying is you're not in the bubble. And I think magazines like this, just like the Washington, D.C. missed it, just like the mainstream media missed it. They couldn't see what was going on. They couldn't see that Pennsylvania was going to vote for Trump. Now, I'm not saying Trump's the best president. I'm not saying, I don't know if he's going to be a good president. I have no idea. All I know is there's a lot of people who missed it. And I think that these companies, these magazines are missing it. I think that there's a shift going on right now. Be a part of that shift. Embrace it. It's okay. You can downsize. You'll have, and within 2 years of the downsize, you'll be like for granted, this year, and I'm going to end it with this point. My best year, when I had 2 trucks going out, I made $6,000 more profit this year than I did those years. Think about that. All right, my YouTube world. I hope you enjoy this video. I know it's a tough one to take in sometimes, but enjoy it, because I know this video is for someone out there.